And I welcome you to this session of movement and meditation. And if you are sitting, let your hands touch the floor. If you're on a chair, they might touch the edges of the chair or just hang at your sides. If you're on the floor, let the fingers touch the floor. If you are lying down, let your arms be extended along at the sides. As you breathe in, let the arms inhale and reach upward. And then as you breathe out, let the arms come down and reach downward. And take a few moments to feel what it feels like to move the arms with the breath, to coordinate the position of the hands with the movement of the breath. Breathing in, filling the chest and lungs on the inhale, and breathing out, feeling the air come out of the body as the hands come down. And this might slow down. This might continue deepening and expanding as you let the breath come in more full and more complete. Lying on the floor or sitting in the chair, letting the arms open and lift with the inhale and return down with the exhale. I'm going to be adding this live transcript option for accessibility. And if it feels good, if you're sitting, you might have this possibility to continue with a gentle twist. If you're sitting, let one hand come to the opposite knee as you look behind. And then as you inhale to the center, exhale and look behind the opposite direction, the opposite way. So this is the movement of slowly lifting the arms and lowering them with the exhale, with the option to twist, with the option to add a little movement in the neck and the spine. And it might feel good to hold that. It might feel good to come into that twist, to turn the head, and to stay for a few breaths as you allow the body to reach tall with the inhale. If you're lying on the ground, you might reach through the back of the neck, making yourself long. And with the exhale, soft. Taking a few minutes for these twists, for the body, for the nervous system. Twisting one direction and the other. All right. Giving your body these movements, these twists. And as you arrive back to center, let's stay for a moment with the hands and the arms. And reaching just the left arm straight up and then lowering at the shoulder. 3 or 4 times, straight up and lowering at the shoulder. Finding the expanse between the ribs at the armpit, opening the fingers way up there and lowering 3 times straight up. And then reaching out to the side and doing something similar, reaching out and releasing and reaching to release, engaging through the shoulder, through the elbow, through the wrist. Reach and release 3 times and straight forward in front of you. And relaxing at the shoulder and look and let go and look and let go. And if you have the space behind you, that's available to reach, again, 3 times, making an effort and dropping that effort and engaging that effort and releasing that effort. About 3 times. About 3 times with just this arm, you've gone up, out, forward and back. Let that rest and compare. Just there, notice. Notice what the arms and shoulders feel like. Okay. And now the right arm, straight up. With the inhale, extra opening through the armpit, through the ribs, and a release through the shoulder blade. And a reach, and a release. A few more times, up to, well, at least 3, maybe more, if it feels good. Straight up, forward. Oh, I might have switched the order up here a little bit. We'll get all 4 directions, reaching with that effort, feeling the movement in the shoulder, and then reversing it from the shoulder, letting that whole arm initiate. 3, out and back. Reaching out about 3 times, and if it's available, if you have the space behind you, finding that plane. Excellent. As you complete this movement with both arms, that's right, check that they're the same. They might need a moment of reorganizing both together. Up and out and forward and behind. Wherever else they might need to go today, take a moment with your shoulders, with your arms, and when you feel complete, let the fingertips find their ways to the shoulders so the elbows can approach one another with a bit of a stretch, and then opening them to open the chest. And at least 3, up to 7 or 8 butterflies of the shoulders. Forward and back. And from here, circles, drawing circles with the elbows. I take a weekly class with a teacher in Chicago, and this week she talked so much about the joints and how important it is now more than ever to move our joints, as our joints are holding. They're holding tension. They might be holding virus or bacteria molecules, and these movements help clear that out, help clean that out. So circles in one direction, circles in the opposite direction. And any other type of arm movements. Some of you might remember a time when we went swimming, doing a few breaststrokes, or some of you, that's right, might like the swimming variation of the shoulder rotations with fingertips on the shoulders, little backstroke movements, or front crawl movements. Finding all the different movements, and we'll take that right into a dynamic practice of pulling the rope. So whether you're on a chair or on the floor, next time reach one arm straight up as if you were holding onto a rope, making a fist and pulling that through the center in front of you. And then the other arm goes up and pulls that down. So this is your invitation to reach and pull down. It might be the movement, just that movement in your arm and elbow might feel nice. You might like some strength. You might like to make this into a strengthening practice, for which I invite you to strengthen that grip and to pull down with your muscles if that feels nice for your body. Lengthening through the spine as you do that. Up and down. Okay. And letting that go. Rest for a moment. Notice the breath. Notice the effects. And when you're ready, hold on this time to 2 imaginary oars. So the hands are maybe about shoulder level, as if you're holding. Again, the object might be completely imaginary and weigh nothing, and you might engage the imagination into something that is heavy and demands your strength. And when you're ready, both arms lift up like in a rowboat, a little lean forward to put the oars in the water, to draw them low, leaning back as far as your core strength allows. So if you're on a chair, sit at the edge of the chair. As you come into this double arm movement, along with the spine, a little reaching back and leaning forward, as if on a rowboat. Rowing it in this direction. You might need a break, a rest. You might want to rest in a forward fold if that's comfortable for you. You might rest in your tall sitting position. And we'll switch directions. So the arms push along, down, low towards the feet, and then rise up. And the body moves forward and back. As intensely as you enjoy it, as softly as you prefer it. Letting this movement be a strengthening movement for your core, an energizing, enlivening movement for the joints, for the spine. And when you feel that signal, when the body says enough, satisfied, you let it go. When you feel like you've received what you need, you give it a rest and a break. Welcome. If you're just joining us, take a moment to take a breath and find where you are before you jump into any movement. Find stillness. And as you complete this movement, find stillness. Take a moment to be with your breath, with your body. And the sensations that are here now, even in these few minutes, what is appearing? What is emerging? How does the body feel? Feeling through that. One more dynamic movement from this set. If you're sitting on the floor, let your feet sit wider. Similarly on a chair, I'll bring my chair into the mix again. On a chair, you might be sitting with your feet slightly wider and holding in between your knees something like a handle or a great big spoon. Moving the waist, the hips, into a stirring movement, into a churning movement. And noticing what you're choosing, noticing if the arms are long and braced and stiff, or if the elbows are part of the movement. And let me tell you, there's no wrong way to do this. As you take this suggestion and find your body's way to do it, find a way that feels good, a way that is pleasant and pleasurable. to 8 or 10 rounds in one direction, and you'll switch and go the other direction. Inviting this movement into the waist, into the hips, into the organs of the bowels and the digestive organs. At your speed, at your pace, churning the mill. To arrive at stillness, to arrive again where you began. And let the arms be comfortable, let the arms rest. We'll do some of the joint movements through the feet and the legs. And again, if you're just joining us, you might do both, fingers and toes. And if your hands are tired, and even though you just practice with the hands, you might also enjoy combining the hands and the feet, but with a special focus on the feet. And again, sitting on the chair or sitting on the floor or lying down, when you're ready, just the toes will close down and open again. Toe movements, connecting with the right foot and the left foot, the two big toes and all the toes. And again, this might be toe and finger work in your case, or focusing on the feet, however your body needs that. And when you're ready, the movement moves to the ankles. Pointing and flexing the feet, and you might do that hands and feet together, ankles and wrists, if you so choose. Moving through the flexion and extension and into a rotation, allowing the feet to draw shapes. And again, you might choose to do that with hands as well. And again, there's no wrong way to do this. There might be soft fists, there might be open fingers, there might be dancing fingers. Allowing your body the expression that feels good, that movement that is nurturing. Changing direction if you haven't yet with the ankles and or the wrists. Then let's get creative. Let's let the legs draw some infinity symbols. Maybe spell your name with your feet. Letting the feet and the ankles warm on up. A breath or two there, finding your satisfaction, finding that movement that feels good. And letting that soften. We're going to come into a knee movement that I invite you to pair with a hug. So if you are open to this, you might open your arms as if you're getting ready for a hug, and you'll scoop your leg into a hug. Let's start with one leg, for example, the right. It might be the left, whichever comes first. Do this up to 8 times, but at least 3. Hugging the leg and allowing it to come back to the floor, scooping it up for a hug. You might really get in there with that forward bend. And opening. On the chair, the leg doesn't even have to go that high, however your body's allowing you to move today. Connection with the leg and release. One side and then the other. Listening to these joints in your body. For the core strength, for an extra challenge, practicing both legs together. The challenge for this variation is to keep the knees and the feet like a single unit, arriving together up and down. Notice if that's available to you. Often I see people starting with one leg and joining the other. This isn't the wrong way to do this, but that does favor the strength on one side. So if you do that, if you notice you start with one and the other one joins in, try to switch that up. If it's the left one that starts, try to get the right one to go first. And the other way. As you work towards a practice in which both legs are strong to keep the same position as an option. Allowing that to happen and letting that go. If you are on the floor, allowing the feet to come to the floor as the knees open for a little sitting butterfly, butterfly at the hips. On a chair, this hip movement can be a little more separated out with a individual stretch of each side. The hips are stiff. Little side movements might be what they enjoy right now. So little hip butterflies, hip movements. And as you feel what your body needs there, as you satisfy the needs in the hips, letting that go and scanning through the body, noticing the toes and the knees, the hips, the hands and the arms, the shoulders. We began with the shoulders. And when you're ready, begin gentle neck movements, letting the head come down as if bowing and then lifting up to look at the ceiling. In a slow motion, yes, in a slow motion. Movement for the neck. Letting this slow lifting and lowering stretch the front and the back of the neck. From this movement, you'll continue with a side-to-side movement. Allow each ear to move towards the shoulder. Right and left, left and right. As you satisfy that movement, you can also turn for a twist by looking past one shoulder and the other. Slow movement, finding the limits, finding the edges of the pleasant movement. And you may slow this down. You may turn and breathe in this position if that feels good. Something here might need that stretch. And it may be a dynamic, quick movement for you today. Noticing what the neck needs, where the sensations are guiding you. There are 4 ways to move the neck in this systematic way. You did the first 3, forward and back, like a slow motion, yes. Ear towards the ear, like a slow motion, I don't know. And the twist, a slow motion, no. And the fourth one is a gentle rotation. So be very careful with your neck as you imagine the nose as a marker or a pencil, and you draw a tiny circle, a tiny spiral, allowing that neck to move around. Eyes might be closed, you might be focused on the sensations, and eyes might be open as you look around the room in which you are practicing and notice what you notice. Where do the eyes go? What can you see in this practice as you open that spiral and make it smaller? And then changing the direction when you feel the neck says it's time to change, changing in gentle rotation, exploring what this feels like today. Where does the neck give you feedback? Is it a smooth movement? Is there a part of you that's achy, that's stiff or sore? Where does the neck want to go? You might stay there for a moment. The neck might have a lot of requests from your attention. You might need a moment there, and you might be satisfied. You might arrive back to the center. From here, we'll move into the whole spine. So if you are on the floor, find your position on the hands and knees. You might use a chair as a modification, still using the floor, but not coming all the way down for that pressure. And you might be sitting on the chair, and if that's true, let yourself be at the edge of the chair so that there's room behind you. The whole spine or the cat pose involves a forward and backward bend in the spine. So I'll move through these options. The option in the chair, forward and backward bend. Option using the chair as a support. Finding that same arch. And of course, the classic position on the floor. Get my sweater out of your way. Once you warm up the body, once you begin this movement, let the body take you from there. Notice where your body has a signal, a pulse. What does this cat need or want to do? Explore stretches with arms, one at a time. You might explore twists and side bends. Moving through positions of the cat pose, moving through positions of spine on the hands and knees and variations that you might know, that you might be familiar with. And letting the movement guide you to where your body would like to go from here. Some of you might be feeling the impulse to tuck the toes under, to lift the knees, to come into a downward facing dog. That is great from the floor. It can also be from this assisted half kneeling position with the support of the chair. It might be a way to make it more accessible for some folks using that chair. The stability of the chair is key here, of course. Using a higher back to achieve a similar effect with less pressure on the head and arms if all the way to the floor is not available for you today. So working on variations of movement from the cat to the dog. You might come back down to the knees for a rest. You might come up and stay there for a while. You might come down all the way for a rest. Softening the body as needed. And you may explore and experiment things to do while up in this position. Again, exploring the possibilities from where you are practicing. What is available? Where can the body go? What feels good? Take your time, take these few moments to find what your spine needs from these actions, these movements. And getting those movements into your body and finding a standing position. When you're ready, letting the body rise up from a four-legged position to a two-legged position, evolving your form, your shape into the standing human shape. Arriving. Take this moment to find your standing position, to find where the feet are. Let them be just under the hip sockets. Let the outside edges and the big toes feel the earth beneath you. And as you feel gravity under you, feel the length of the body that you're able to find in opposition to gravity. That's right. If your arms go up, let them go up. And exhale. Let the arms go down and the shoulders come down and the whole body come down. So like you did sitting, inhaling and reach. The whole body is tall. So side bends, if you were able to follow along with the image after the straight up and down, doing a side to side and following the side to side, a nice twist, standing twist. Letting the whole spine turn as you look behind one shoulder and the arms are either free to move or you're guiding them. You're guiding them to place themselves on opposite parts of the body. So Moving through this sequence of 3 movements, the straight up, the side bend, and the standing twist. As you arrive to some satisfaction there, and giving it a little shake, a little release, a little resolve. Again, this evening, you'll be guided through the first 3 and or 5, depending on how you count this, movements of a sun salutation. I'll show you standing and a modification in a chair. Lots of options for the shoulders. There are 3 positions, and you'll move through them in numbers 1, 2, 3, 2, and 1. That's where the 5 comes from. The 3 positions are the beginning, the preparation with the hands together, a reach upward, which can be a backward bend if this is available and comfortable in your body, honoring any limitations in that direction. That backward bend might be with the arms low. It doesn't have to be with the arms reaching. It can be low. And then a forward bend towards your feet, soften the knees, head down, and returning through the same sequence. So I'll show in the chair in just a moment. Beginning here, the hands together at the heart. And inhale either to reach up or to reach out, whatever is available to the shoulders. The chest is expanded and is followed by a forward bend. The forward bend is followed again by that expansion, position number 2, and a return to position number 1. Moving through these 3 positions at your pace, at the speed of your breath. 1, 2, 3, 2, and 1. Similarly on the chair, that preparation, the expansion, arms low or high, opening the chest and closing the chest, folding down, opening, and arriving at center, at neutral, at preparation. Reaching up, reaching down, reaching up, and arriving home. Find your way through these movements and keep listening to your body. Listen to the body and find all of the movements that you might need at this point, allowing this movement to be self-guided. Perhaps there's a stretch you are longing for, something standing, something sitting, something kneeling, something laying down on the floor. Let your body guide you. Take the next few minutes for personal movements, explorations, and tending to all of the pieces and parts that need care. If you feel satisfied, if you feel like you've done what you need for your body already, let yourself find stillness. When you feel complete in the movement, let the body rest. And for rest, take what you need, collect any props, pillows, cushions, blankets, towels. Some people like a rolled towel under the knees. As you satisfy the dynamic body, come into the static expression of the body. In the next few minutes now, we'll move into a breathing practice, followed by a yoga nidra. So I welcome you to satisfy the movement in order to have a more comfortable, a friendlier stillness. And this is a practice like the others. The practice of coming into stillness requires attention to detail, invites you to adjust and modify and accommodate to your needs, to check in with yourself, what you need to be at your most comfortable. So finding that. Finding that comfort. Coming into stillness, coming into the opposite of movement. To the extent that the body is capable of stillness, the body is breathing and the body's heart is beating and the digestion continues and the kidneys do their work. And so even in the stillness of the physical body, there is ongoing movement. Physiologically, of course, chemically in the body, and on the subtle levels of energy. And this is where you're invited to get curious, where you're invited to gaze, looking upon the self, watching this body breathe, adjusting the position for comfort, adjusting the placement of the body so that it's easy to focus on the breath, so that it's easy to be with the coming of the inhale and the going of the exhale. And the practice begins here with this witnessing, watching the arrival and departure of the breath. Allow the witnessing of the breath to focus at the throat. Watch the breath at the throat. And what would it be like to breathe while slightly engaging the throat in somewhat of a vocal pattern? Some people feel this as an expansion in the throat. Other people feel it as a contraction. Both are correct. So your experience is absolutely valid. The invitation is to create a slight tension as if making the sounds of the letters AH on inhale and HA with exhale. There's no actual vocal effort. Just placing the throat in this pattern as if to vocalize. AH, and breathing in, and HA, breathing out. Allowing the body to create this gentle whisper, this gentle snore of the breath. You might be familiar with the Sanskrit name of this breath as Ujjayi Pranayama. Creating this gentle sound and focusing the listening upon it, focusing the movement of the mind upon the movement of the body. As the breath comes in, the awareness goes in. And as the breath goes out, the awareness follows outward. Inward and outward. Follow the breath. Create this subtle sound. Listening. Invite the body to become softer. Invite the body to receive this breath like nourishment. If it feels good, stay there. If it's pleasant, continue with this breath. If you feel satisfied, perhaps this is enough for the body. Perhaps the body prefers its natural breath again. Allowing the breath to shift from effort to effortless, letting go. Letting go, and when you're ready, coming into a natural breath. Return to natural breath, effortless breath. Allow the body to breathe. And please prepare for the practice of yoga nidra. Prepare for the practice by situating the body. First and foremost, tending to your physical form. Again, organizing any props for your comfort, for your ease. Something under the knees if you're laying on your back. And you may choose to be on your side or on the abdomen. This practice also can be done in a chair, on a couch, in a bed. This is your practice. This is your yoga nidra. So getting your body situated in its favorite way, in its favorite place and position. Allowing this body to find the good earth beneath, to connect with gravity, to surrender to the earth, to that pull of the earth, which is there to hold this body. Letting that go. Softening, softening, softening. Feel the earth beneath the body and feel the stillness of the earth as the body arrives in its stillness. The stillness of the earth like the stillness of the body. And the stillness of the body as a container for the movement that is always there, like the movement of the breath. As you cultivate the stillness of the body, be aware of the movement of the breath. Invite the breath to arrive and release the breath in its departure. Feel the rhythm of the in and the out, the coming and going of the breath, the arrival and departure. This ongoing dance of breath and body. Watch the body breathing and watch the breath arrive and depart. As you listen to this body's knowing and wisdom and desires. And it could be that you feel like you have everything you need. Right here and right now. There may be enough. You may wish to acknowledge the enough of your life in this moment. Letting go of desires. Letting go of wishes and wants. Letting go of resolves and resolutions. And being here with this moment and the enoughness, the satiation here. I am enough. This breath is enough. This body is enough. And this moment is the perfect moment to be in this sense of all is well, all enough. What does that feel like? What does that feel like to generate within the body? This deep sense of completion and wholeness, as is. Cultivate the wholeness throughout the whole body. Be aware of how whole and complete the right foot, big toe, is right now. And the remaining toes there on the right leg, toes 2, 3, 4, and 5. Be aware of the sole of the right foot and the top of the right foot. The heel of the right foot is enough. The ankle and the lower leg on the right knee, the right thigh, front and back, the right buttock and hip are enough. Perfect, just as they are. Bring the awareness down to the left big toe. Enough. Toes 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect and whole. Sole of the left foot and the top of the left foot, the left heel and ankle, lower leg and knee. Awareness of the upper leg, thigh, front and back, to the buttock and the hip. Be aware of the pelvis, the whole pelvis, enough and filled with enough. All the organs and connective tissue and muscle, fluid spaces filled with fluid, enough and plenty. Perfect and whole. Awareness of the low back, the right and left sides of the waist, the lower abdomen, navel, and upper abdomen. Be aware of the diaphragm, the midline there, and the chest, the ribs on the right and the left, and at the center, the breastbone. Enough. Be aware of the back, the right shoulder blade, the left shoulder blade, the ribs through the right and the left, at the back, and the space between the shoulder blades, filled with enough. Awareness of the armpits, right and left, and the shoulders, right and left. Awareness of the back of the neck, and the front of the neck, right side and left side of the neck, back of the head, right side and left side of the head, right ear and left ear, crown of the head, the forehead, right eyebrow and left eyebrow, eyebrow center, right eye and left eye, right cheek and left cheek, the nose, the lips, the chin, back to the front of the neck and back to the shoulders, right shoulder, upper arm, elbow, right arm, forearm, and wrist. The right hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Be aware of the right arm up and over to the left shoulder, upper arm, elbow, the left forearm and wrist, left hand, thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Awareness of the two hands, the center of the left hand and the center of the right hand, filled, holding enough. Enough in the hands and arms, enough in the neck and head, enough through the chest and upper back, through the low back and abdomen, the pelvis, right leg and left leg. Together, both legs, the trunk and both arms, neck and head. Together, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. The front of the body and the back of the body, the right side of the body and the left side of the body. Be aware of the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Resting in this awareness that is yoga nidra, resting in this space of conscious sleep, somewhere between awake and asleep, in this space of awareness and healing, of communion with the self, the space of knowing that everything you need is within. Every inhale arrives to nourish. Every inhale arrives to support life in this body. Receive each inhale. Watch the body breathe in. The body knows just enough. Little inhales at a time, followed by little exhales, multiple times a minute. Enough every time, enough breathing in, enough breathing out. Be aware of the body, in the breath, with the sense of perfection, the sense of enough, just as it is. So the mind follows the breath, watching the arrival and the departure of each perfect inhale and exhale. And with the breath, allow the body to become even heavier, even more settled. Perhaps with the exhale, feel the weight of the body. The body grows heavier and heavier. With every breath, feel the earth beneath the body and the soft surrender of the body resting, heavy and heavier. Create heaviness throughout the body. Generate weight in the legs, in the arms, in the trunk and the head. Allow the body to be heavy, resting upon the earth. And become aware now of the inhale. Notice how light the inhale can be. And let the whole body become light. With the inhale, generate weightlessness, generate lightness throughout the body. The whole body becomes lighter and lighter. Focused on the inhale now, the body grows lighter and lighter. Creating weightlessness and finding both the heavy and the light, finding the exhale and the inhale, finding where the body is heavy, where the body is light, where there is weight, and where there is weightlessness. Feeling both and the whole body together. Whole and complete. Heavy and light, both. With the awareness in the heart space, let the mind listen. Let the mind tune in and listen. What do you need to know? Maybe asking the body, what do I need to know about feeling my wholeness, about feeling this perfection, this enoughness? How can I dwell here in this feeling of completion? How can I live to fulfill on desires without desperation? From this space of wholeness, of settled completeness, all is well. Listening to this inquiry, perhaps answers arrive, and perhaps this is just a seed of inquiry that the body will consider and deliver answers later in the dream or on a walk sometime later this week. Know that the question has been planted, that the body will be looking for the answer of how to feel more complete, how to navigate this complex world without fraying that sense of wholeness. The whole body, be aware of the whole body, the legs and the arms together with the trunk and the neck and the head. Feel the right side of the body and the left side of the body, the front and the back, the lower half and the upper half, the outside, the surface, the container of the body and the inside, the content, the inner world, together, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Be aware of this whole body, this whole body. And as this practice comes to an end, begin to listen outside of the body. Listen to the room
in which you're practicing. Listen outside. Are there sounds beyond your doors and windows, so loud that you hear them where you are? Listening to the sounds closer by to these instructions, any other sounds local to the room. Listening to the sounds of the body, the breath, the heartbeat. Listen and feel these sounds. Feel the sound of the breath as you feel the breath. Feel the inhales and the exhales. Feel the body as it's breathing. Feel the expanse, the arrival of inhale and the release, the expansive exhale. As this practice comes to an end, let this body awaken, perhaps choosing a deeper breath and little movements, or choosing to stay in rest, choosing to stay in stillness. There's no wrong way to do this. If you are awakening, this is the moment to deepen the breath, to move the tongue and the eyebrows, to move the fingers and the hands, the toes and the feet. As this practice concludes, let the body awaken, if that's what you're choosing to do, with little movements that become larger, letting the body stretch, letting the body fold, roll, maybe come up to sitting, maybe stay lying down. There may be an impulse to touch the arms, the shoulders, to hug the body, to awaken, maybe little movements across the forehead and cheeks and chin. Maybe grabbing the earlobes and giving a massage along the sides of the ears, way up to the tops of the ears. And from the top, moving back down. Face movements, maybe rubbing the hands together and offering a massage to the fingers, one at a time by the opposite hand, thumb and fingers taking turns to massage the hands. The hands, again, lots of brain space related to the hands. So as you touch your hands, as you stimulate the fingers and the hands, the intention is to help wake up the mind, if that's what you need tonight before fully retiring for a good night of sleep, which I wish for you. I hope that this practice has offered your body some movements that felt nutritious. You might feel some blood flow, some breath movement. As we come to an end of our time together, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for moving, for breathing, and for meditating. Our practice is complete.
Thank you for watching. Please like the video and leave a comment about your experience. And while you're here, please subscribe to my channel and opt in for notifications to catch the next class I upload. And then head over to olgachwa.com to join in a live event or to work one-on-one with me. I'm here to help.